And we were dealing with mom and her Alzheimer's. Um, she was, it was a nightmare. She'd gone downhill to the point where she was belligerent, argumentative, constantly coming over every 5-10 minutes, and it was a bloody nightmare. That day, she'd made my daughter cry, my son cry, pissed my ex-wife off to the point where she wasn't go over there. I went over and she was nasty, and so I went back over and I looked at my wife and I said, fuck it, I'm going to give her a brownie just to shut her up so we can have some peace for an afternoon, right? And so I got the brownie out, and of course I'm huffing and puffing. I'm like, okay, calm down a minute here. You eat one of these brownies and it's knocking you on your ass. This is your mom here, right? So I cut it in half, and then I thought again. I said, look, I'll cut it in quarters. I'll give her a quarter. And if I need to give her another quarter, I can give her another quarter. So I put a quarter in a bowl, a little scoop of ice cream, a little bit of chocolate sauce on it. And I took it over and I said, look, would you like a chocolate sundae? She's got her arms all crossed and she's just miserable. And when's my dad coming? I'm like, I don't know. Do you want a chocolate sundae or not? Yeah, fine, I'll have that. So I gave it to her and she scarfed it down. And I went back over about every 5-10 minutes or so just to check on her. And it took about 45 minutes to an hour for the first inklings to start to kick in. And I went over and she was sitting there like this, and she had just a little grin on her face. And I said, what are you doing? And she goes, watching TV. And I said, oh, good show. She goes, yeah. And she looked up and says, when's my dad coming to get me? And that would be the trigger. If I said, no, he's not, or I don't know. I said, I don't think he's coming today. He might come tomorrow. And she went, oh, okay. And I just went, are you all right? And she said, well, I feel a little giddy. And so I went, but you feel okay? And she said, yeah, I feel good. And I said, are you enjoying watching TV? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, would you like me to get you a drink? And she said, yeah. And she said, when are we having dinner? Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, would you like to come over for dinner? Yeah, that'd be nice. And I'm like, I turn around and going, okay, I'm going to get a drink. And I'm like, holy shit, who is this lady?